Two different times, 6 years apart, I happened across this sticker in Washington, D.C. What I don't know about this sticker sounds like the first day of a journalism class. Who, what, where, when, and mostly why. What I do know is that it's based on the D.C. flag, and during the 6 years between the two times I saw this sticker, I've seen hundreds of remixed D.C. flags like this one. But not just stickers. Murals, advertisements, tattoos, t-shirts, political ads. All adaptations of the one graphic design. But what's going on here? Why do we adapt our flag? Before we try to solve this mystery, let's go to South America. Here we find Antanas Macas, first a philosopher and artist, then elected mayor of Bogotá in the late 1990s. Bogotá faced many challenges at the time, including incredibly high rates of traffic deaths. Typical policy solutions weren't helping. Nothing helped: more police, better signage, or higher fines. Instead, Mayor Macas hired mimes to mock drivers and jaywalkers in order to shame them into following the law and being more careful of each other. Incredibly, it worked. Traffic deaths plummeted. This strategy of arts-inspired interventions is called cultural acupuncture. Cultural acupuncture is the strategy of using art in public space to do more than just create dialogue. It's using art to change how people think and act. This example is solid gold to a professor of rhetoric like me. And in my field, we believe that everything speaks, even mimes and stickers, which at first seem silent. Everything around us makes arguments: people, objects, colors, and even open spaces. We're all being persuaded all the time. So I'll ask it again. Why adapt the flag, and what kinds of arguments do these adapted flags make?
Flags are tremendously meaningful to people as a symbol of themselves.
100% of people care about flags. There's just something about them that works on our emotions.
People use the flag to identify themselves with DC. And sometimes their pets too. Small businesses use the flag to advertise that they're local. But big businesses do too. Folks also adapt the flag for political reasons. So the personal, the commercial, the political, all these adapted flags, when looked at as agents in a larger system of communication, can tell us about DC and what's going on here. They're kind of like a rhetorical barometer. We can see local arguments, and their shapes and patterns, and even rising and dropping social pressures. Seeing hundreds of adapted flags over the 8 years that I've lived in DC has been like cultural acupuncture for me. It's how I learned to live in the district, to care about what matters here. And one political fight sits at the heart of it all.
But there is one other US population which suffers a lack of representation in DC, and that's DC itself.
A petition to Congress for statehood.
By this point, we've all heard arguments for and against DC statehood, including far too many from people who don't live here. And it seems like the arguments made by those of us who do are mostly ignored. Since flags persuade us to listen, to shop, to vote, to ask questions, to learn, I'm wondering if we can use the flag as cultural acupuncture. What if we collectively adopted the approach of Mayor Macas of Bogotá, but with our district's flag? We totally occupied the visual field and made it adapted flags as far as the eye could see. What if we sketched the flag on cocktail napkins, scratched it in wet concrete, added it to our signatures, wore it, painted it, incorporated it? What if we agreed to make sure that folks who visit here see our adaptations everywhere, to not let them leave without knowing what we want? I'm suggesting that we persuade visitors to DC that we need statehood. I'm talking about the 23 million tourists per year, the hundreds of thousands of commuters who come here Monday through Friday, and maybe even the legislators who ultimately have the power to grant us statehood. Someone once suggested to me that my mystery sticker means that DC is downloading statehood, that we've yet to reach our full potential. And that's beautiful, but let's get to work.